Hi, Karen.
Hello, Carla. How are you?
I am well. Good to see you.
You too.
How are things in Vegas?
Um, Gloomy right now, but hotter than Hades yesterday,
Yeah,
and the times before.
I tell you what, you're all experiencing some extreme heat over there. It makes Florida look like a paradise right now.
Hold on, Carla. When does Florida not look like paradise?
So, well, I mean, we're normally like the hot ones, but our mornings have been really nice. I mean, compared to the West Coast, we're very temperate at this point. So, hi, Antonio. Hello, William. Hi, Guy. Alex, good to have you. David, thanks. Josky, hello. Speaking of West Coast, Oksana, Dawn, thanks for joining us. And Dara,
Good morning.
good morning. How are things in your world?
Good, except that I'm recovering from COVID, so that's why
Oh,
camera turned off. It's not a pretty sight.
yeah, been there, done that. I got it when I got back from Portland at the beginning of July. So, new variant's not very fun.
My wife had it really bad, like I've never seen her so sick.
Wow.
Yeah, well, that's what you get when you travel in July. And
Yeah,
everybody's on the airplanes and in amusement parks and in museums and traveling, and
Yep.
so it happens. All right, well, for the sake of time, I am gonna get started. Thank you, everybody. I'm Carla Raymond Kidd. For anyone who doesn't know me, it's so exciting to have you all on here today. This is our first Fridays. I know we missed July. I hope you all had a wonderful July and that your summer's going well. But I want to introduce our current president, who I am honored to have with us today. Evan Bennett, please say hello to everybody and tell us a little bit what's going on with FIABCI.
Absolutely. Thank you, Carla. Now, first and foremost, welcome everyone, and to the our members who are going to be speaking today about their experiences at the World Congress. Thank you for doing that. I think it's just really helps everyone to get a better understanding of what's going on, the opportunities that are available to us, and the international connections that we can make by attending these conferences. But I do have some exciting news at the national level. So as I think all of you know, we're having our fall symposium in Hollywood, Florida on September 19th. And we just learned yesterday that a very distinguished speaker has, I don't want to say belatedly, but it took a little longer than anticipated, has accepted our invitation to give a presentation. It's going to be Gunnar Branson, who is the CEO of AFIRE, the Association of Foreign Investors in Real Estate, which basically is an association that represents mainly institutional investors located abroad that invest in commercial real estate in the United States. So he's going to talk about the challenges and opportunities that are currently facing those types of investors. And he's got an idea that in retrospect, a few years down the road, when people look back on 2024, they're going to consider it a very good vintage, so to speak. It was a very opportune time to acquire properties.
I love the wine.
Well, exactly. If we can work wine into the conversation, it always makes it better. There's no
Why
question.
not?
So I would encourage everyone, if you have not already registered, please do so. We're very excited to have someone of his caliber presenting. And in addition to the other, very esteemed speakers who have already agreed to participate. But it's going to be an excellent opportunity to get some insights into the industry. And of course, there's going to be a social component as well. Following the presentations, we're going to have a cocktail reception. And there'll probably be wine of good vintage there too. So let's all look forward to that. And please go out and register as soon as you can.
Wonderful. And I believe Allison has just put the registration link in the chat for everybody. So just to make it easy for you, when you get in there, you'll also see that the link to the hotel is there. I would recommend doing all of this sooner than later because you want to be at the host hotel. The room rates are very favorable for this time of year. So looking forward to seeing everybody there. But we are going to start our program. And I'm very excited today to have Monica, who's with us, and then we have Shirley, who is our president-elect, and then Elizabeth Valencia is filling in for Maura because Maura couldn't make it today. I know you all saw the flyer and she was supposed to be with us, but Elizabeth has graciously agreed to be with us today and take her place. So, we thought about like, what should this program be? And I know some of you got to come to Toronto, some of you got to come to Singapore, but a lot of you haven't. So, we wanted to kind of give an overview of what was going on. And for maybe some of you who are new members or just haven't been able to participate as actively as you want, this should give you a little taste of what we've all experienced. But, here's the question, why do we attend conferences, right? And it's mainly just to enhance our value of membership wherever we are. So we hear a lot of times from people who say, oh, I joined the Chamber of Commerce and, I just didn't rejoin. I didn't get anything from it. And my comment is always like, well, did you go to any of the meetings? Well, no. So being just listed in a directory typically isn't something that works very well. So you're only going to get back what you give. And I think that's really the value of any membership you have, but particularly the importance and the value of being a member of FIABCI. So, it showcases, what does this do for your professional, right? It showcases your willingness to stay abreast of industry trends. It contributes to the knowledge base. It helps you engage in professional development. And your active participation and contribution to conferences positions you as an expert in your field. It enhances your credibility, not only along your other peers, but also your superiors. So this is also a great way for you to showcase yourself as to what you've learned, what you've experienced, and how that makes you a better professional versus your competition, right? That's why we all join membership. We have memberships, but a global membership like FIABCI is really, a step up. It's a step up notch because we are so involved in the global field and most people don't know how to play in this field. So it's very important for us to not only share our knowledge to help, bring new leaders into the business and to expand our knowledge on global to both our fellow colleagues and our clients, but it gives us an edge over the competition as well. So Monica, I know you're one of our newest members. You joined like late 2019, I want to say, and you immediately jumped in, right? You got involved with everything. So you served on the membership diversification committee, then you got on a sponsorship, and now you're on our new membership committee. You went to Dubai, and when there was a trade mission to Dubai, you were at our spring symposium in DC when I was inaugurated. You did the 2023 trade mission to Panama. And then you went to the World Habitat in Honolulu. And then you went to Singapore to the World Conference. So you really dove right in. You want to like share what your motivation was behind that and how that's affected you and your experiences behind it?
Sure. First of all, I was invited to FIABCI by Spencer Hu, and he was so excited about it. And I had gone on a couple of trade missions beforehand and was asked, are you a member of FIABCI? And I said, no. So I made it a point to learn about FIABCI and listen to video recordings before I joined. And my passion has always been global, and we all are global because we work with people from other places. And so I've joined in, I think, late 2019, and I just started going online to meetings and participating. And I would meet members of FIABCI at CRS conferences or NAR conferences, and just a group of stellar individuals that's a little bit different maybe from the CIPS with NAR, and just full of storytellers and international, just that international flavor. Everybody has it, and it has just really been it's really been a great addition to me professionally. And I enjoy traveling, and FIABCI is every trade mission or everything I've been to is very, very organized, and get to spend great time with colleagues and other members of FIABCI that just really are interested in, as our president says, making the world a better place while we do real estate. So I'm excited about every aspect of FIABCI, and I look forward to going to Florida, and hopefully in Spain in December.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to doing both of those as well. Now, tell us where your market is and how being global has kind of changed, maybe your way of thinking or your business program or how you do business.
Mhm. It has really increased my knowledge culturally. I've
Mhm.
learned a lot, and most of my business is from, I would say, Mexico and Central America. But FIABCI has opened my eyes to other countries besides these that I've dealt with for so many years. So I've made a couple of contacts that we have a huge plant here that's opening the Ford truck electric plant, which
Tell
is
everybody where you are, Monica.
I'm sorry, I'm in Memphis, Tennessee. So about 30 miles from here where nothing existed, Ford has come and opened an electric truck manufacturing plant. And so people are coming here from all over. And I've had one call from someone that I've met who knows someone who is going to be coming over here with the battery plant from Korea. So that is, and if I hadn't gone to, I think I met that person, it was either at MIPIM this year or maybe, not sure which one, but they had kept my information and passed it on. So it's those kinds of experiences and building relationships.
Yeah,
That's
it's funny how so many people, when you talk to them, they say, "Oh, my market's not global." And you think when you think of global, you think New York City, you think Miami, you think Orlando, you think San Francisco, right? But we're talking about Memphis, Tennessee, where there's global business happening in our backyards, and we're not even aware that it's there. So until you start spreading that word and letting people know this is what you do, it's very small-minded, right? Wouldn't you agree, Monica?
exactly, it's small-minded. And so we just have to get out of the box and encourage others to get out of the box.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Elizabeth, I'm going to take this to the complete opposite end of the spectrum, right? So Elizabeth has been a FIABCI member for 48 years, right? And she has done everything. She has been our United Nations representative since 2004. She was vice president of our and vice president then, but now president, and was president of the Legislation and Environment Committee, and conducted the Echo Film Festivals from 2008 to 2015. I want you to talk about that because I didn't even know that existed. And at the World Congress, and she currently serves as our international organizations committee vice president for FIABCI International. Elizabeth, would you unmute and just kind of share like how you got involved with FIABCI and when you've been a member for almost 50 years and how that's just changed your life, right? Why are you still here?
Well, I am a cultural geographer by nature. I spent 7 years as a registered nurse, and I was not fulfilled. It was only international was the doctors. So then I moved to South Carolina from the Midwest, and I was in culture shock with people who didn't understand my lack of accent. However, the textile industry here was dramatically changing, and a lot of international companies were coming, especially the German chemical companies. We had like 100 chemical companies. And so I found my social niche with the Alliance Française, the German American Club, and those were the people I gravitated to.
And did you speak French or German?
No, I do not have any language skills at all.
Love it.
But I have a world record of locating companies from 28 countries into this market. You can always hire and a translator,
Absolutely.
but you can't hire a thinker. I just sort of came up with a menu of things that I have done that may or may not be of interest to anybody else, but I just had to take a different approach because I was in a small town, in a small state, in a totally alien environment. And the first thing I did was get involved with the university, with international students. And I began hosting international interns through our university and through FIABCI. FIABCI has an exchange committee, and that committee makes students available. I have had a total of 160 interns in my 45 years. I haven't had any the last 2 or 3. So whenever I travel around the world, they see on LinkedIn or something that I'm coming, and they invite us for dinner. And
You're the host mom for the world. My goodness. That's a lot of kids staying with you.
yeah, I'll tell you, and I saw 3 of them on the last trip. It's just, I mean, it's amazing. But through those young people, their professors, their parents, people refer things to me. I mean, obviously, I was in business long before we had computers. So everything I did was word of mouth. And I just had to give 150% service. And I got referrals from all over the world because the clients would be on the same airplane coming from Europe, and some new company was traveling with somebody else, and they said, well, I'm going to Spartanburg, you know, who should I talk to? And they would tell them me. And of course, they could understand me with English as a second or third language easier than they could understand some of the local dialects.
Now you've been jumping into a lot of international committees. I mean, why? And what have you gotten back from that? Like, why
Well,
should anyone join even a USA committee or get involved with international?
I was at the USA used to have a UN luncheon, and I was at that luncheon in early 2000s, and we had to introduce ourselves. And I just mentioned that I had just completed a 4-year US EPA brownfield pilot, writing it and managing it for a small town in South Carolina that had contaminated properties. And one of the FIABCI members came up to me and said, you've got to go on the Legislation and Environment Committee. We need people with your kind of background on this. So I was put on the committee, and 4 years later, 5 years later, we did the first Eco Film Festival. And I got Alexandre Cousteau to come and be our keynote speaker, because we had a focus on water, and the Cousteau family has been very active in water around the world. So she gave the awards. We had students from around the world that competed. They made their own films. And we had a full day of filming of the winners, and then presented awards to them. We got a corporate sponsor there. It was in Amsterdam, which of course is the water country, the people that solve water issues globally. But I also got very involved in the economic development of the state association. And since 1988, I've been a representative for the state for the Southeast US Japan meetings. Now, each region of the US has a Japanese and American interface. And so most of the regions alternate meeting in Japan every other year, and in one of the 7 or 8 states in the region. So I've been attending that for years. I joined Rotary. Rotary is international. I was selected to lead a group study exchange team to Japan in '99. And so I lived with Japanese families for 5 weeks and was immersed in the culture. Again, I learned 5 or 10 words, but they still loved me, even though I couldn't.
I mean, you just got to jump right in sometimes and immerse yourself in order to kind of get around that. The international community, Elizabeth, like what kind of commitment is that? So everyone understands, if they got on a committee, what does that entail? Time-wise, and, what kind of background you need to have, and
I think most of our people are, have a passion, not necessarily a background. You kind of learn on the job what needs to be done. And, we used to meet at the World Congress, all the committees would meet and you had much closer connections. Today, your meetings are all
like
on
this,
Zoom.
let's Zoom.
That like that. And there, people around the world that you may or may not know, you may not see them. The people who are selected to be leaders may or may not be interested in involving the committee. They may just want to do something themselves. And so, I think we're struggling a little bit on the participation in some of the committees that are active. But, I always was able to make my own connections at the UN.
Mhm.
I joined the Global Compact with my own company. So I was selected to be on the ISO 26000 Corporate Social Responsibility Working Group. And I went to South America, to Santiago for that for a week. And I've been to climate conferences in Copenhagen and in Poznan, Poland. And I was in Glasgow for the COP26
Yeah.
2 years ago.
So it's just your passion has fueled and led you from, FIABCI to many other things, and vice versa.
Now, see, we also used to have our business cards always translated on the back of the card to the country you were going to.
Great tip for everybody.
But now, when you think about how to do that today, if you just have a QR code made for every place you go,
Sure.
or what countries the attendees are coming. When in Singapore, I met a woman that was a speaker who was from South Korea, and I'd been there on a state trade mission in 1981 before she was born. Her card was in Korean, and
Right.
I didn't have a Korean card, but I realized that instead of having to put the language on the back of the card, if you have a QR code in every language on your phone, you can
Love the tip.
pass
Yeah.
that along to people.
Thank you. I want to move on to Shirley, though, because we only have a few more minutes left. So, but you gave us some great insight and information. So Shirley, our new president-elect, congratulations once again. She's been a member with us since 2018. She served on the academic committee first, then she did the Grand Prix committee, and now here she is, president-elect for USA. She is currently also our VP for the commercial committee. And Shirley also was with us in Singapore, but then she and I went onward and did the trade mission to Malaysia. So I want to, Shirley, just share your experience about what was invaluable you, maybe just, what you got out of the Singapore the Singapore World Congress, but then why the Malaysia trip was so special, and why people might want to consider doing something like that.
Thank you for that, and welcome everyone. I love to travel. I mean, let's just put that out there. And any opportunity that I get to do what I call pleasurable business, I take it. And so when you travel for business, you can write it off. And so why not? I learned about, first of all, I learned about FIABCI through CCIM. So I was a CCIM before I even had my real estate license, because of banking and finance. But going to Singapore is at the top of most people's list on the place to go, the place to be, progressive city, a lot of real estate, a lot of money, finance. And so I absolutely had to go to Singapore. You get to learn the culture, you get to interact with the people there. But then when the trade mission, the post-conference meeting to Malaysia came up, a lot of people don't know that Malaysia is a hot destination for digital nomads, for retiring abroad, people looking for citizenship by investment, even though in the Asian countries it's harder to get citizenship, if you get it at all. And also owning property in Asian countries, you can, for foreigners coming in, you could usually typically own a condo and not the ground floor because you cannot own the land. So a lot of people don't know that about the Asian countries. And so when I had an opportunity to go to Malaysia, I was like, I'm on it. You get to actually go to Kuala Lumpur. You get to meet partners in that market. When you're global, you have to go global to be global. That's what I say. And so when you're making referrals, outbound traffic, referrals for Americans, Canadians, or British people going to all these different places, it helps when you've been to these different events and you actually know people that you're referring people to on the other end. And another thing, someone mentioned about traveling. So when I was on my way to Africa, I stopped in Belgium and I put it on Facebook, and Juice, who's in Belgium, said, "Oh, you're in Belgium. How long is your layover? I'll come pick you up and show you around." That's FIABCI. Things like that, that you don't get anywhere else, to my knowledge. I mean, FIABCI, Eugenia always said FIABCI is a family, and that is correct. And
You don't really
all
get that
over.
until you go.
You
I
have
had the same
to go.
experience. Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell us about Malaysia. There were about 12 of us.
Malaysia was super fantastic, wonderful. The people, the networking, the architecture is out of this world. I mean, we like to say USA, and I agree with that. But unless and until you go and see what people are doing in architecture in other countries, you have no clue. You have no clue. And retail, because I'm commercial real estate, retail in the US is just decimated. When you go to Asia, Singapore, when you go to Malaysia, the malls are popping.
I said it was like being in a mall in the United States on Christmas Eve, like at 8 o'clock, where everyone was trying to get that last minute gift that they forgot. That's what their malls look like every single day.
All the time. In the
Crazy.
cafe culture, I mean, which I love.
Absolutely.
I love a cafe culture. Malaysia, I mean, cafes everywhere. It's kind of like in Mexico City when you have all the little neighborhoods and all the cafes. That's how Malaysia is, and people are just out. A lot of food. The food kept coming. Oh my God. You think you're done, and here comes something else to the table. I mean, Malaysia is awesome. I'm telling you guys, you have to do it.
You know, the other thing I thought about the trade mission, and Josky, you were with us as well. There were 12 of us. So we had some from the United States, we had some from Africa, we had some from Italy. We had one from, oh, where was he from? Was he from Belgium or Austria? Anyway, you have these 12 people that are together for 3 days on a bus. So forget about the networking and going to see things. You have this bond with these people that you've spent like all day, you've shared meals, you get to meet each other. And for me, that was like also an incredible experience as well, let alone going and seeing everything that we did, was just being able to spend some time, quality time with people that you really wouldn't have the opportunity to do that. So,
And
Shirley,
that's
one more
another
thing. Yeah, go
thing.
ahead.
When you bond like that, that's invaluable. And when you're making referrals, you're making a referral to someone that you know, and they're going to take care of the people that you refer because they know you. That's a relationship that you can't get over Zoom. You can't get over just going to a conference somewhere. Once you get outside of the United States, a lot of times real estate is transactional. But once you get outside of the United States, it's not transactional. You sit down, like I say in the Bible, breaking bread and things like that. It matters. You have to have that relationship. And you can't do
Absolutely.
that unless you travel.
I agree. Now, one last thing, because I know you've made this comment to me, Shirley. You said when you travel, you purposely never stay in the host hotel because you like to be in the thick of it. So just share with everybody like what your mindset is behind that and why you want to stay somewhere else.
I want to feel where I am. you know, I want to be immersed where I am. I want to go to the coffee shop that the locals are going to. I want to walk down the streets that the locals are walking down. I want to go to the small shops in the communities that the locals are using. I don't do cruise. I've done one cruise just to check the box. I don't cruise. I'm not trying to be on the ship and you pull up somewhere and you go with the herd somewhere. No, I want an immersion. And this time I stayed in a Hotel Indigo, because I know I piggyback on the branding that the big brands do. And so I noticed that Hotel Indigo is usually in trendy neighborhoods. So I was like, okay, yeah, that'll be good. So I stayed in the neighborhood where they were. And just all the walking and the people and the shops and the little restaurants you go in, they know you're foreigner. I mean, come on. And it's great.
Yeah.
I wanna just put it on the
Right.
whole environment.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate everyone for sharing. I hope this has been insightful for some of you who have not been able to join us either at any of our US conferences or trade missions. I do know we have a trade mission coming up the end of September that FIABCI is doing as well, the FIABCI International. They're going to is it Czech Republic? Hungary, thank you. And then also, as Evan mentioned, we have C5 coming up, which is our own conference in the fall. And then, of course, Barcelona for the leadership conference at the beginning of December. So
One
we
more
very
thing on
much-
Barcelona.
Yes.
Takeoff trip is Madrid and Valencia. Join us there.
I couldn't agree more. Very much looking forward to it. Great to see everybody today. I hope you stay well. I look forward to seeing you at our next FIABCI Fridays, which is going to be at the beginning of September, and then again at our fall conference here in my home state of Florida. So everyone take care, be well, and we'll see you all soon. Bye.
Hey, everybody.